for that new home. As we continue to meander our way through these uncertain times, there are still opportunities for you to be able to get that mortgage. Reach out to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Maybe you might need a little bit of cash out of your house during these weirdo times that we're in. The number, 231-332-6505. Thanks, as always, to Mario for being on board with the show. Huge benefit, huge help. Thank you so much. All right, good to go. Let's do this.
And now, here's a guy who has to have a pork chop tied around his neck to get the dogs to play with him.
Dude, keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Appreciate you. My God, yes, another round of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Another round, make it sound like a game. We are playing Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia today when this live podcast finishes up. We'll be taking it on over to Patreon, where Dale will be conference called in with Derek Tonkinson, the pride of Duluth, Minnesota, for another rip-roaring edition, a $50 edition of Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia. Thank you to Bennett Flooring Installation for providing the cash prize. That's how we do it. The show is, of course, recorded each and every day for the audio podcast found at ericzaneshow.com and on all podcasting apps and platforms. Just search it out. No big deal. If it's not on your favorite, just copy the RSS feed, as it's known, on ericzaneshow.com, and you can plug it in there, whatever you like. It's all set up for you, or just play it right off my site. You cannot miss this. It is the easiest thing in the world to get at. That drives me cuckoo when people say, well, how do I listen? It's like, God dang it. You know, if you're that loopy as to how you get stuff like this, boy, you're just way behind. Damn it. If my dad at 86 years old can who has dementia, can muster through this to figure it out on his own, somehow get the show, I can't help you. If you can't do it, well, I love you, but no, I'm not going to explain it to you. I must kick the bird out of the nest. You must do it on your own. You must tap into the resources that we have. That's like if somebody says, hey, can you come visit me? Yeah, how do I get there? A car. What's that? How do you drive it? What? What goes in the car to make it go? Drives me up a wall. I feel like I'm talking to an alien person from another planet whenever they say, I don't know how to do it. Come on, man. All right. Nevertheless, we're also live. The Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid Facebook Live feed right now. In fact, as usual, I'm not 100% positive we are live. Usually we are. Yeah. I need to write out a checklist of, like, when a pilot is getting ready to, like, take off, he's got a checklist. I see we're live. Excellent. I need to do that for this podcast. I got my charger. Check. Are we live? Check. So many steps. It isn't just push a button and you're on. It, like, takes an hour to get everything else set up. But, all right, I bitch too much. Also on Twitter, the Blue Frost IT Twitter handle, at Eric Zane Show. Periscope video is there. I got YouTube. If you're on YouTube, just search Eric Zane Show and then click subscribe and hit the little bell. That gives you a notification when I'm live, okay? Any one of those ways. So thank you to those sponsors for being part of the show. I've got a number of sponsors that move the meter for me. Some of them are essential. Some of them are working right now. Some of them are not. We will all get through this together. Okay? What I want to talk about now, what I want to talk about to start is a lot of silly, funny things that I want to get to as I try to keep the car on the road when it comes to content. The last thing I want to do is just throw out things I've heard and hyperbole and grim outlook for the future. I don't give a shit about any of that, and nor should you. I think the only thing you really need to be concerned about right now, this is the only time I'll really be serious, is today not getting sick. That's all you must worry about. I don't give a shit about anything else right now, because if you lose your health, well, my God, all of that will be lost too. Everything else can be gotten back. But if you lose your health, or if your family loses you, that is a horrible, horrible thing and a horrible spot to be in. I don't want to panic on any regard. All I want you to do is do what I'm going to do today, and that is protect yourself and your family. Get through today. We'll worry about tomorrow. We're not going to worry about today, or we're only going to worry about today, and that's it. That's really the only thing you can control, is not panicking, keeping your hands washed and the borders of your home clean, safe, and effective. That's it. That's all you can worry about, because there's such a profound impact of you staying healthy, most immediately for your family. And then if you wind up in the hospital, that is a bad, bad spot, because more people are at risk. It's another person occupying a hospital bed. So, as we've talked about, our number one goal as a community, being listeners of this podcast or viewers of this podcast, is staying healthy. And you're doing an awesome job so far. Keep it up. We'll get through today. We'll worry about tomorrow. That's it. Catastrophe averted in this household today. You know, it's been the way it is here, as it has been for the past 15 months now, and that is get up, get the coffee. And so, wow, that was shocking today when I pushed the button and a little bit of water came out and went into the little Keurig. Do you say Keurig or Keurig? I'm going to say Keurig. Then I'll probably say Keurig after. The Keurig thing, and then a little bit of coffee came into the cup, and then nothing more. And I'm like, what? Now, I do it. I don't use those flavored fucking things, which cost like $50 per cup of coffee. My wife uses those, drives me up a wall. Incredibly more expensive. I'm kind of starting to think I should go back to the just old-fashioned pot of coffee with like a Mr. Coffee Maker and just put it right here beside me. I think that might... Now, I spoon it into the little single-serving deal. But it's kind of a pain in the ass, and when I pushed the button, it looked at me like I was crazy. It put like one drop of coffee in the stupid thing, and then it stopped, and it shut down. It actually shut off. It's like, well, we can't do this. I'm like, what? How could you possibly do that? What just happened here? Now, we have gone through about 5 of these Keurigs, okay? And I think we're getting ripped off on this, because these things put such a strain on its system with each individual cup of coffee. My theory is a little fucking thing can only take so much, and then it dies on you 2 years into your usage of it. I mean, you could use a coffee maker for that, and all of those combined, and not go through one of those things. So I'm starting to think old school coffee maker is better off for this scenario than those fucking things. Drives me up a wall. Well, so I'm like panicking, and I'm like, oh God, well, this is just ridiculous. I can't continue. I mean, this is an essential thing for me. Oh man, somehow managed to get it working, but great concern in the Eric Zane Show podcast household. All right, as we drift around trying to do only essential things, I had to make an essential trip to get some food yesterday. Bread, eggs, and coincidentally, coffee. Had to get those things. So, I, as it is all the time, when I go out, I have a system. It's the wipes in one hand. Well, they're in a bag. I've talked about them before. The Clorox wipes in a bag. The hand sanitizer. Once I venture out of the car and get into the store, I do not sweat the idea of me touching things. I touch everything. I because I know I'm good. All I have to worry about is not touching my face. I never do. I've got it down, man. I shop like a beast. everybody's like, tiptoeing around each other. I know right where I need to go. I grab I touch whatever I want. I touch everything. And now I'm like, okay, but your hands are contaminated. Take out my wallet, pay. By the time I get back to the car, my hands are completely contaminated, potentially. Lube them up with the hand sanitizer. When I get into the vehicle, I grab a wipe. Now my hands are clean. I pull my phone out while holding the wipe, drop the phone on the ground, wipe the phone off, grab the wallet with the wipe, set the wallet on the ground, wipe the wallet off, carefully pull the card I paid with, which is potentially contaminated, wipe it off, pull out the card that's next to it in the wallet, wipe it off, and that's it. That's all I need to worry about at that point. Done. Okay, but I found something else that can kill me at the store yesterday. Because while everybody is being very, very cautious about not catching this horrible virus, which is just laying waste to our communities, someone didn't tell dude at the store that body odor can kill too. Oh my gosh. Yikes. It was near the end of the workday for dude. I know that because he mentioned it. The store was getting ready to close. And, if the coronavirus doesn't get you, the body odor might. At that point, I wished I had coronavirus. It was so strong. It was tangible. I haven't experienced body odor like that since I was on that ferry from Manhattan to Ellis Island. Not Ellis Island, to the Statue of Liberty in the summer. Remember that story? It was about 97 degrees, and I was on the lower deck of that ferry, and it was just a hodgepodge of dirty assholes, armpits, belly sweat, and vagina. It was so insanely strong, and my wife was like going, she was dry heaving. She's going, she sounded like that little kid in that video. I'm like, So that was a thing. And it was like that checking out yesterday. Just one guy, though, at the checkout. And I'm like, oh, my God. He's trying to have a conversation. He's the nicest guy in the world. And I'm like, sir, you'd have thought that somebody would have complained so that the manager could have, walked over, tapped this dude on the shoulder, and been like, hey, I just took this off the shelf. Put this on right now. Ooh, really, really bad. Okay. I'm going to call these next two things I'm going to talk to you about in the open the awkward files. Similar to the 1970s crime comedy drama, the Rockford Files, but the awkward files, it is two things involving family matters that were off the rails, awkward. Now the first story was a Patreon only. I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version of it. It stems from a picture of me I posted this from 30 years ago in peak physical shape, not an ounce of fat on me. My hair was brown. I was young, energetic, bright, whatever. And apparently it was buried in a drawer, and my daughter found it and came walking into the room and went, woo, oh my God, look at Dad. He is so hot. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she goes, I'm like, you can't, this is wrong. This is so bad. And she goes, get this picture away from me. It's too much. I can't handle it. And I'm like, why? I go, and so I had Diana on the Patreon. I go, Jackie wanted to bone 30 years ago Dad, and Diana pretty much agreed, and it was horrible. It was so bad. Now Jacqueline is just a bull in a china shop. That is, if it's in her brain, it's gonna fly out of her mouth. She is me on steroids. Holy shit! The fact that she had the nerve to say such a thing is just incomprehensible. And it was a horrible, horrible moment. And I posted the picture to show you which one in particular it was to kind of add emphasis to the story. And there we go. But now, gosh, leave it to Pellerito to make this even more awkward. This sick fuck son of a bitch took that picture, and then he somehow he's pretty good at Photoshop. He's gotten handy at it. He's really good at a lot of things. He's really good at tucking his T-shirts into his pants. He's really good at wearing his cell phone on his belt, like 1999. He's also really good at taking pictures of his penis and of photoshopping. So, all right, here you go. I've got a picture now of me with Jackie, Jackie, with her arm around her father, and it's, He posted it, I think, to Zaniacs United, and I guess I'm going to have to take it and add it into the show notes of this stupid podcast, because it was just a killer, man. So they all got a big laugh out of that, but we're not done with the awkward, because just a little thing that happened around the house that I want to tell you about to wrap up the open of this podcast. And it goes like this. I hear in the other room Diana start laughing hysterically. And this is last night. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And she said she was in a text conversation with Jackie again, coincidentally. And have you done this ever? You're written out a word, and then it gets auto-corrected to something very awkward. This is classic. You've seen this a million times. I think there's a website dedicated to this. This actually happened, and you need a little bit of background. Around this house, somehow one of the silly things we do between family members, instead of saying sorry, and I don't know where it came from, it became I'm sorry, S-O-W-W-Y. Sorry. It's silly and stupid, but it's just one of those family dynamic things. Everybody's got them. Jackie is talking with Mom, and Mom wrote to Jackie, "You are a little sneaky sometimes." And I don't know what this was about. It doesn't matter. Jackie responded with, "Well, that's rude." Mom wanted to write, "I sorry," and she sent it right as it auto-corrected. Jacqueline, the message pops up to Jackie with, "I so wet." And Jackie wrote back, "What the hell?" Corona. Then Diana corrected it. "I sorry." "Oh, my God. Ha, 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 ha," Jackie says. I was like, Mom? God dang it. Awkward again. I'll post you the screenshot. I share it all with you on the Eric Zane Show podcast. All right. The Open is brought to you by my friends at Sarah Honda Granville. Online at sarahhondagranville.com. Shop for a car there. They've got people on staff right now checking out who is there. If you say, "I'm interested in this car," that phone is going to ring so fast you're not going to believe it. Please mention that the Eric Zane Show podcast is where you heard it. Sarah Honda Granville there on Kennewa, right by 44th Street in Granville, Michigan. The number one with a bullet volume dealer for Honda vehicles in the state of Michigan. Okay? That is a terrific thing to have, a little thing to hang their hat on, and so many 5-star ratings. It's incredible. I think they average like 4.8 out of 5 at Sarah Honda Granville. Again, online at sarahhondagranville.com. Kent County Health Department still doing their thing. This is the final day of National Nutrition Month. If you want to get started on the WIC program, don't be ashamed of that. That's what it's set up for you to use, okay? 616-632-7100. 616-632-7100 for the hardworking people at the Kent County Health Department who are just getting obviously inundated with numerous things that are on their plate right now. The obvious is is obvious is the priority. But the other essential things that they work with still are in full effect, and they want to help you. 616-632-7100. There's also a frequently asked questions page on my website, ericzaneshow.com. Okay? Thank you to the Kent County Health Department. All right. In just a bit, I want to get to the Eric Zane Show podcast, Small Business Salute. I will be reaching out to Pilkington Paint and Deck Company in just a bit. The guy who runs that place, his name is Tiger Pilkington, which is just the greatest name in the world. Tiger Pilkington. It just sounds fantastic. I just like saying it. Hey, I'm Tiger Pilkington. Don't shake my hand. We'll have him in on a Skype call in the Eric Zane Show podcast Small Business Shout-Out in just a bit. I've been looking around for a number of stories that don't exactly have really anything to do with the obvious that is going on in the world today. Thank you to Boring Dean, Push-Up Dean, for sending this one along. It comes to us from the world of hockey. Remember when we had the Eric Zane Show Hockey Heaven podcast? My God, it seems like it's been so long. Well, it has been long. All right. Here's what's up. It was a Zoom conference call with Dylan Larkin from the Red Wings, John Tavares, and Brady Tkachuk, and Zdeno Chara. These four guys, NHL superstars, along with a gaggle of NHL reporters, doing their thing, talking to these guys. You know, hey, what are you doing since you can't play? You know, and one of the last things they ended with on the 30-plus minutes conference call, Chara saved the best material when asked which teammate he'd least likely to be quarantined with. His choice was his teammate, Bruins goalie Tuukka Rask. And they said, why? And this guy just let it fly. And so did Rask. And that's what brought him to that in the first place. Apparently, Rask has a horrendous issue with gas. Very bad-smelling farts. And it is such a problem that Tuukka Rask would not want to be anywhere near him, according to him, for the aftermath of what he loves to eat, and eat, no doubt, too fast, beloved chicken wings. I have to say, Tuukka Rask, the way he farts, the smell is awful, said Chara. He likes his chicken wings, and after the chicken wings, I've had to sit behind him on the bus. I've got to tell you, I've got to control myself sometimes. What kind of animal just farts in a crowded bus? I mean, I used to sit next to producer Joe on the whenever we would travel, which I fucking hated that travel. It was the absolute worst. The worst part of that job. Necessary thing, but I hated every single minute of that, except interacting with the fans at those shows. That was the only thing I liked. But sitting next to Joe was a fucking pig on the plane, and he was proud of it, too. You'd be sitting right next to him, and you know, and all of a sudden it would come wafting up and right into my face, and I'd be like, dude, what? Why? Seriously? Well, yeah, it's not healthy if you hang on to it. So, yeah, but it's not going to kill you, and you're going to be fine. So just hang on to it. And, of course, thinking only about himself, he would continuously fill the goddamn cabin with his farts over and over again. And he was proud of it. He didn't give a shit. I fucking hated that. People who do that are fucking idiots. Unbelievably bold. And I can do it around people I know, obviously. It's way different when you're in a crowded area of people you don't know. It's just fucking stupid. I hate it. How the farting issue remained a well-kept secret within the Bruins locker room over the years is nothing short of amazing. Rask has been a regular at Buff's Pub in Newton, Mass. over the years while living in the suburban city. So none of this should be surprising information when it comes to Boston's number one goalie, the Yahoo article says. So, my God, yeah. to be sitting there and guy is farting in your face. Stop. Come on. All right, it is time to reach out to the one and only Tiger Pilkington. He brings us Pilkington Paint and Deck Company.
Ring back on while your party is reached.
All right, one of these deals. I always hate these.
Hello.
Tiger,
Hey, good morning, Eric.
how are you?
Oh, I'm surviving.
Yeah, I know it. You have a Pilkington Paint and Deck Company in the community of Sidney, Michigan, which is where again, Tiger?
It is just northeast of Greenville, in between the cities of Greenville and Stanton.
Okay. So now what we do on this show during the small business shout out is basically just for those who have been just waylaid with a sucker punch right to the face. Talk about you, your business for a brief amount of time, and then, maybe a little bit of a respite from the uncertainty that is clouding your brain right now, and you are not an essential employee, so you cannot work right now. Isn't that right, Tiger?
That is correct. I am non-essential at the moment.
When you are busy working, what type of work do you do, Tiger?
Well, I'll tell you, I started off about 4 years ago, just primarily staining decks, fixing people's decks. And then I had a customer ask me if I could do some repair work on a deck, and it just kind of grew from there to now we build decks, we repair decks, we stain decks, we build garages, and then in the wintertime, we do a lot of interior trim work, flooring, interior painting. So basically, it's like a handyman service all the way up to building garages.
So you kind of just pieced it together as, hey, I can do this too. I think I'll add this to the menu of things that I'm capable of doing, right?
Correct.
How many people work with you, Tiger?
During any part of the season, I could have anywhere from one person working with me up to 5 or 6.
All right, okay. So as this started to unfold, this crazy virus, when it was overseas, you were probably like a lot of people and like not really that concerned about it, right? Because I know I really wasn't that concerned.
No, I really wasn't. I can honestly say I knew it was going to hit us sooner or later. You just look at the way Americans travel. You knew it was going to hit sooner or later, but I didn't think it would hit the way it did.
Okay, so and then was it as soon as it started to proliferate and get into Michigan, did the work immediately slow down, or did it have to be when they locked the state down that it just stopped for you?
In our area, it was once the governor issued the order, it really stopped. I actually was in the middle of building a garage when it happened, and I received notice that I was to stop and all work immediately, that I was non-essential, and that we could continue once the quarantine was lifted.
Okay, so you're busy. How did you find out about, I should say you were busy, and then you found out about the Eric Zane Show podcast, Small Business Salute. Were you a regular listener, or did someone just turn you on to it?
Nope, I'm a regular listener. I actually started listening all the way back when you were on WGRD.
Oh, my God. You must have been very young then, because you sound young right now.
I'm 40.
Oh, you're 40. My God. Jesus. Normally, a person who's 40 sounds like they're all beat up. I guess maybe I'm just hanging with the wrong people, but that's excellent. So, can you take me back to where you were and how you came to get discover the old show on GRD and why it stuck with you?
I've always been a rock fan, and then I don't know how much you want us to say or not, but I loved when you did Dumber Than Zane trivia. That just cracked me up. It made my day.
No, that's fine.
That right there got me started. And then, I also a big sports fan. So when you went over to 107.3 with the huge show, listened there, obviously, in the morning. So I've just been a longtime fan.
Oh, man. Well, I appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about the name. Is that a nickname, or did your family said, let's call him Tiger?
It is actually a nickname. Long story short, my wonderful parents adopted me. Didn't know whether they'd get to keep me or not when I was a baby. Gave me a simple name, and it stuck.
Well, my God. So you've lived in West Michigan your whole life then?
Well, not my whole life. I did I lived down in Florida for about 10 years. Worked as a sergeant in a correctional facility down there. My parents started getting older and having some health issues. So I decided to make the move back to Michigan to be here to help them out as needed.
Tiger, tell everybody where they can find you online, please.
I have a Facebook page, Pilkington Paint and Deck Company, that they can always check out. I'm available there to be messaged. I do free estimates. All they've got to do is look me up, or I do have my phone number, my business number, which is 616-255-6542.
All right, and that's Pilkinton, yes?
Yes, correct.
Pilkington Paint and Deck Company. I'll link this all up in the comments so that people can click on it if they ever are in the in need for something like this. They can think about you as one of the businesses that just got hammered from the coronavirus attack that we are under right now. Well, I tell you what, all you got to do is, it's what I've been telling people on this podcast, is stay healthy today. You and you have family? You have like kids, wife, the whole deal?
Yes, I do. I've got 3 kids, and I've got a wife who is just wonderful. She works in nursing, so obviously we're still exposed every day. But
okay.
God bless her soul. I love her to death for it.
So she's working with patients?
She works in a long-term care facility in Lowell, and they're dealing with it every day. They're pretty much quarantined while they're at work. So, like I said, God bless her.
Oh, my God.
Gotta love her for it.
Tiger, man, we're thinking about you and your family. Today all you got to worry about is staying safe today, and we'll worry about tomorrow, okay?
That sounds like a plan to me.
All right, Tiger, I'll be in touch, and I'll tell everybody to come to check you out if they're ever in need of any of the services that you mentioned here, okay?
Yep, I appreciate it, Eric.
All right, Tiger, talk to you down the road. Thank you.
Yep, have a good day.
All right, buddy, bye-bye. Tiger Pilkington. How about that guy? Tiger Pilkington, Pilkington Paint and Deck Company. What a story that is. His wife is out there helping people. That is, there's so many of those stories that you hear about. So, all right, think about them. I'll link all the information up in the comments of the podcast. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is in West Michigan, a serial criminal has been captured. Someone who has been doing this same horrible thing since the 1990s. And the police have been on the lookout for this person for that amount of time, like 20-plus years, more than 2 decades. They have been on the lookout for a guy who walks around and shows everybody his dick. That's right. A serial flasher has been busted. I'm looking right at this guy. Man, God, he looks familiar. But he is up. Oh, boy, this guy is in big, big trouble. Wait till you hear the boldness that this guy has taken over the years, and how he hasn't been caught in the past is an absolute miracle. I will tell you about that guy coming up next. But first, please remember that the Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty is the realtor of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast. Okay? There are literally hundreds or thousands of choices when it comes to buying a home. And I have a team in place here on the podcast. My team, you get the mortgage from Mario, and Henry is going to sell your home and find you a new home. All right? The process is absolutely perfect. I sound like Trump. It's a perfect process. It is a perfect process. Go ahead and when the time is right and reach out to more than one and interview them for the job about listing your home, okay? But just make sure that Henry is part of that at thesteffesgroup.com. And you'll get to know him and his team, and you'll see why he is the best, #1 realtor in all of West Michigan. Of course, I'm very biased towards it, but it's true. And he's a terrific guy. You will love him and his team. TheSteffesGroup.net is the web address. Hold on a second. I might be screwing that up. Let me check with the staff. It just had a sneaking feeling that it's not a .net. It's TheSteffesGroup.com. I sometimes get these jumbled up. Excuse me. TheSteffesGroup.com is where you go to reach out to Henry. He's also got a bunch of listings there, beautiful homes. If you're thinking about, getting into a new home, if you're selling one, you obviously are. Take a look at his listings too. And if you see another listing you like, Henry's your guy. Okay, if he's your guy that's looking for a home for you, he's going to work with all those other realtors. Turnkey, thesteffesgroup.com. To keep that home clean, you call Amy Porter of A&D Cleaning, 616-550-3644, 616-550-3644. She's not working right now, but when the time is right, remember, A&D Cleaning, 616-550-3644. You know who's working today? The Pizza King of Grand Rapids, Franco's Pizza, online at francosgr.com. Call them. You got lunch, you got dinner. Their number is 616-361-7307. 361-7307. I don't know what my problem is today. francosgr.com. For lunch, for dinner. The home of the 18-inch, one topping for $14. That's an incredible deal. Again, you're obviously not eating in. You're walking in. You're paying the money. You're getting the hell out of there. That's what you do. But they are essential, and people got to eat. Think about ordering from Franco's Pizza. Okay. The serial flasher is suspected to be a guy by the name of Stephen Todd Pastor. Older dude, I guess, 54 years old. God, man, I'm going to be 50, okay, in July. And this guy looks like shit. And I don't want to look like this. Well, he's fucking bald, so it's kind of a problem. You'll be able to see it on your own. But knowing that this guy, for the last, 2+ decades, has been getting his rocks off by showing people his dick. Now, there is so much sexual dysfunction in the world. The fact that you would put yourself in great peril and commit crimes and really mess with people's heads for sexual gratification is insane. How does this even happen in the world? This serial flasher told the investigators in Kent County, Michigan, that he's been doing this since the late 1990s, according to court records. He was finally busted last week. The cops were onto him, and they set up a sting, and they knew he was going to do it. And when they caught him, his pants were off. Fuck. How'd you like to be the cop walking up to that guy? He's got a big red one standing up loud and proud with no pants on, naked from the waist down, when he was arrested by deputies who were conducting surveillance. He had been held in Kent County Jail, but he was released yesterday on a personal recognizance bond. Pastor is charged with indecent exposure by a sexually delinquent person. Now, it's weird because the penalty guidelines of this, up to one day, up to life in prison. Well, that's a pretty broad thing. Either 1 day or life in prison, and anywhere in between is kind of weird upon conviction. He's also been charged with aggravated indecent exposure, which is a 2-year high court misdemeanor. Pastor is suspected in dozens of incidents of indecent exposure in Cascade Township since 2003, police said. Police haven't seen anything of this magnitude, said Sheriff Michelle LaJoy Young. Are they talking about his dick or the scope of the crimes? Maybe it's big. We've devoted a lot of resources on this guy trying to find him. Such crimes frighten victims, she said. Police have alerted residents in the past about a flasher operating near 28th Street between Cascade Road and Patterson. My God, that is such a high-traffic area. It's insane. Police have investigated at length. They've even set up stings, but the flasher was always elusive. The incidents happened at houses, offices, and along the road. In many of the incidents, the suspect would be wearing a hat and a shirt and no pants. he would often knock on a window to gain the attention of the unsuspecting victim, then expose himself and touch his penis. Did they mean like car window or house window? Police said the flasher would sometimes travel by bike, other times in a car. If he wasn't in a neighborhood, he'd stand by the highway waving and exposing himself. You know, like a guy who holds a sign, "Come on in for pizza." He's there just waving with his dick out. That part right there, how he doesn't get busted, is remarkable to me. I'm just going to tell you, if I'm driving down the road and I see a guy with his pants off standing there like, dude from tax service waving, I'm going to pull over and I'm going to tackle him. Seriously, I would do that. Absolutely. I don't give a shit if his dick's flopping in the wind. You can't do that. He needs to be stopped. I should have been a cop. Other times he would expose himself to customers in a parking lot. Pastores said that I should put that out as a poll on Twitter. If you're driving down the street and you see a guy with no pants on and a big red one waving at everybody, would you pull over and tackle him? Or would you just drive by? The fact that all these people drove by and didn't stop and beat the shit out of him is like ridiculous. Police said that Pastor's downfall happened when he began to target the same woman in 2018. Police said he got onto her back deck several times and exposed himself. Police identified the dude based on security video showing a guy in his vehicle. So they had that info. Once they identified him as the suspect, they conducted surveillance on Wednesday, March 25th. Cops saw him peeping into windows at Briar Lane Apartments, according to the victim. Pastor then drove to a vacant lot. He was nude from the waist down when he got out of his car and started to walk towards I-196. He was taken into custody, and during the interviews, he admitted to the repeated exposures dating back to the late 1990s. A man who answered the phone at Pastor's home said Pastor did not want to comment. Stephen Todd Pastor. We got to roll the dice on this one. Stephen Todd Pastor, Grand Rapids, Michigan. See if we can get anything to come back here on our serial flasher. Oh, wow, I've got a number of numbers. Okay. What the hell, right? Come on, no way. These are mobile numbers. Come on, man.
Your call has been forwarded
Shit.
to an automated voice messaging system.
Trayvon McKinney.
Is not available.
Definitely not him. Definitely not him. Hold on. There's a couple more. I cannot see these numbers in front of me and not get the urge to run out the ground ball. You'd have it no other way, right?
You are trying to reach does not accept calls from numbers with caller ID blocked.
Fuck.
Please
I don't have the block on. What the fuck are you talking about? One more. It's a 313 area code, though. I just want this to work once. It worked with the pastor in Louisiana. No? Going once? Going twice? All right, it's not going to work. Fuck it. All right. How many of you have seen the show Mega 80s? These guys put on a hell of a show. It is so much fun. If you go to any of the Mega 80s shows at the intersection in West Michigan, and I think he also they tour around this group. It's probably the biggest cover band in this great state, and they pull out all the stops. Great show. They have taken the term cover band and made it really, really entertaining. It isn't just like a bunch of dudes sitting around playing their favorite Led Zeppelin song. These guys put on a show, and they pack the house every time they show up. Really, really great. There's bands that put out original material that look at them and they're like, fuck, man, we can't even get $300 to play this bar. And these guys are making serious coin doing this. The lead singer of Mega 80s is this guy named Kerry Denha, or Denha, D-E-N-H-A, Kerry Denha. Well, it might be it. This is a bad thing. Kerry Denha has COVID-19. COVID-19. Dude is sick. And he is very, very concerned about ever singing again because the respiratory issue can really damage your lungs. And if right now he feels very, very sick, he can't even speak because if he does, it would result in a massive coughing fit, which can hurt him. If you've ever coughed a lot, you know that pain you get in your chest. You don't want that, and the amount of damage that is being done to people as the illness spreads to the inner workings of their lungs can give you what's called fibrosis, which means what is once healthy material in the lungs that uses to transfer the oxygen to your blood becomes fibrous, useless material which decreases your lung capacity. And let's face it, you need your lungs to sing. So this guy, his livelihood is at stake. And so the lead singer of the group, Mega 80s, Kerry Denha, is describing to MLive his battle. And he's doing it. He did it via text because he can't talk right now. He described it to the writer, that would be Edward Pevos, or Pevos, with a P, not a D, about what happened to him. So the intersection and the Magic Bag in Ferndale has pretty much been this guy's home. He's been the lead singer for over 20 years. And he gets out. Initially, he was supposed to do a phone interview, and he could only text it. He talked about his early symptoms. Denha, who otherwise says he was healthy before testing positive, was just released from the hospital on Monday. He says he's now battling bilateral pneumonia. But that's nothing compared to what he says he went through with his COVID-19 symptoms. The symptoms started around March 12th. I had a runny nose, tiny cough, and slight headache. A week later, I was fatigued and had mental spaciness. Do you remember when everything started to go to shit? You were seeing a lot of stories about, it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad. Fuck, man. All I need to do is hear one story about how bad it is, and I'm like, fuck, don't tell me anything about it's not that bad. If there's even a chance that it can be this bad, fuck. He talked about brain fog. Denha, who was staying at his home in Traverse City at the time, says he thinks he was admitted to the hospital on the 25th. It says he almost collapsed walking in. At one point, I couldn't answer basic questions in the hospital, like what my name or birthday was. I became very confused and weak with shallow breathing. Well, fuck, don't even ask him the lyrics to Safety Dance then. He says even though his breathing was very shallow, he was fortunate to not need a ventilator. He says doctors told him there's nothing more they can do for him. He just has to let the pneumonia run its course. He's now praying he will be able to sing again when it's all over. I hope I don't have any lung scarring which prevents me from singing in the future. I hope you're okay too, man. Not singing again is not out of the realm of possibility. It all depends on my healing. There was a moment where I didn't think I was coming out of this. Well, Jesus, get better soon, man. That is awful. He'll get back after it. I know there's a lot of people that are like, it's easy to start looking way down the road and to panic. You know, I've got people I know who suddenly their income is out the window, and you're panicking about that, and you're panicking about your health, and will this ever turn around? And it will. Don't worry about that right now. Again, I want you all to focus on just staying healthy today, okay? It's going to be all right. It's an awful thing we're going through, but it's going to be all right. All right, China is lying, okay? We have to talk about this. I posted a poll on Twitter recently after a couple of thoughts went around in my brain, and now the story is starting to come to light more about China doing just that. I'm going to get to that in a bit. As you know, Riverbend Body Shop, if you have your car damaged in any type of fender bender or worse, get it repaired at Riverbend Body Shop. They've been with me for a long, long time. I want you to reach out to them. They are located on Lake Michigan Drive, just east of Wilson. You know, I should always do this stuff beforehand, and then it pops into my head during the actual podcast. Let's see. Yeah, I think they are still doing their thing. I've got no other word otherwise on the website, riverbendbodyshop.com. If that thing needs to get repaired, take it over there, get the estimate, and you can be back on the road in no time. You've got a free loaner vehicle. Everything is sanitized, no doubt, and you are kept safe. Riverbend Body Shop, if you need to get that car fixed, think about them online at riverbendbodyshop.com. When the dust settles, we'll be teaching gun school again with Steve Prince, retired U.S. Army Major from Prince Arming. If you are in Michigan, specifically West Michigan, and you want to get your CPL, he is the instructor of choice. You don't even need a gun, okay? Just take the class. Everything else will fall into place. Don't spend one penny on anything other than the class. It's $125. When the time is right, classes will be held again. You can call him at 616-204-1705. Thank you to Steve Prince from Prince Army. And last but certainly not least, my friends at Blue Frost IT, with a reduced hourly rate for those businesses that are still doing their thing or maybe not doing their thing, and they want to upgrade with a quick hourly rate fix. You can call upon Blue Frost IT. Normally, the pricing is at a certain level. It's been drastically reduced during these difficult times. They are essential. They can fix your problem. 616-200-8550. They are the number one managed IT service provider in all of West Michigan. Call upon the services of Blue Frost IT. You're going to pay a greatly reduced rate to get that IT setup repaired, whether you've got a virus, whether you need upgrades, whether you need an entire new setup. Call upon them today, 616-200-8550. Okay. So as it goes, you know, China went like this. They had first of all, it was difficult for them to come to grips with the fact that they even had a problem. And there was a dude who was an optometrist who blew the whistle on them. And that guy got in big trouble, this doctor, when he did blow the whistle of what was happening in China. The world kind of was hearing rumblings that there was a virus, but all of the media is squelched there. This is like North Korea light, okay? And so you didn't really know what was true when he finally did blow the whistle. It then turned on him because he ended up getting coronavirus, and he died. Well, the people there obviously were like, what the fuck, man? How can you possibly do this to us? Now, China has a long, long history of human rights violations. If you've ever seen some of the documentaries, the Inside China documentaries on the student uprising that occurred in the late 1980s, Tiananmen Square, that massacre, what was portrayed on TV was, you know, some shots were fired. It wasn't anything like that. You had the military mowing people down and pulverizing them with tanks. true. This is a shit show there. And so the lid gets blown off it, they have to recognize it to some degree. And you're seeing numbers roll in about the amount of people infected, and then all of a sudden, like a light switch, it dropped dramatically. If you were to actually go, and a lot of you have an idea of where to go online to see actual numbers, because we're all doing that these days. We're all racing to the phone or the computer to see at the end of the day how many people are infected. By the way, that number that you see with the U.S., you have to understand that no country is testing more than the United States. More than 1 million people have been tested, and that's so you see those numbers, and when that type of awareness of who is sick is out there, that actually helps people. So I know that looks shocking, but don't stress over that. That's all these other countries have those numbers too. We're just aware of who they are. So China doesn't, though. They don't reveal the real numbers. So you had, at a point, there was like a huge spike, and then it dropped dramatically. There was even the story that I revealed as good news today. Wuhan, there's no more new cases, and they've closed all of those hospitals. This is all bullshit. And I started to get an idea of this just by looking at the numbers. And I didn't even look to see if others were talking about it at first. I just thought, this doesn't add up in my brain. That's why I put out the poll on Twitter, who believes China? And 90% of you said they're fucking lying. This story is starting to get steam now as more and more people are saying, yeah, it's way, way different than that. And I went and pulled this story, and it seems like CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, no one's really talking about this at length, and it's shocking to me, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't affect us, but the amount of death in China, most believe, is vastly underreported right now, and the amount of cases is vastly underreported. The Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, who he himself has it, is he's pissed about it. He's about how they're handling it, with one British official quoted on Sunday saying Beijing would face a reckoning once this is over. I'm not sure what that means. They're accusing China of spreading disinformation about the severity of the outbreak in its borders. The newspaper says scientists have told Johnson that China likely downplayed its number of confirmed cases of the coronavirus by a factor of 15 to 40 times. As of this writing, they have 81,439 cases there. Think about that. If they're underreporting by, on the low end of that, 15. If you take 81,439 times 15, holy shit. And then on the high side of 40. Wow. Okay. Yikes. On Sunday, March 29th, Minister for the Cabinet Office, Michael Gove, told the BBC he was skeptical of the China numbers. It was the case that the first case of coronavirus in China was established in December of last year, but it was also the case that some of the reporting from China was not clear about the scale, the nature, the infectiousness of it. The Chinese government has disclosed only 3,304 deaths from coronavirus. Now, there is a smoking gun here. Funeral homes in Wuhan have disposed of 42,000 corpses. There's also a report about the amount of urns showing up in Wuhan, like huge numbers of urns. There are people that are reporting the amount of urns that are being distributed to people. You know, they show up there at the funeral home to get the cremated remains, and they're seeing like 3,000 come flying out of one home a day. That's the smoking gun right there. China is also trying to expand its economic power through offering help to other countries that are trying to combat the virus. The newspaper quoted 3 UK officials who all reported fury within Boris Johnson's government. So they're talking about the diplomatic angle of this, but just the fact that we're looking at a number there that is vastly underreported, and I guess they're using it for their own purposes to be able to take advantage of the situation. I guess I'm not really sure how this works for China to lie about the number of dead, or if they're afraid of looking weak or what. But don't believe everything you see. I'm not so sure about South Korea too. I can't lump them in with that. It's a huge ally of the United States. Maybe they have a handle on it better, but don't believe a damn thing you see out of China. So if you're trying to bolster an argument of how we need to do like China, all of that, in my opinion, is bullshit. Don't believe a word of it. China is lying. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that coming up at 9:45 Eastern Time on Patreon, I will be doing Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. $50 prize from Bennett Flooring Installation. Derek Tonkinson from Duluth, Minnesota will be taking on Dale. They'll be conferenced in via the phone. Obviously, nobody's allowed in the house here, but that's okay. We will still continue on. It is a good time. $50 prize on the line. Now, if you want to play Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia taking on Dale, it's only open to Patreon people. And if you are on Patreon, you will play Dale. You will all get a shot to play. In fact, you'll probably get a chance to play more than once, because after I go through all of the competitors, I started all over again, okay? There's only like 200 of you. In fact, here we are back to the beginning of the month of April. We'll probably be down to only like 40 of you when it's all said and done. But if you want to play, first of all, if you're on Patreon, you got to tell me you want to play. Send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com, and write, I want to play, Zane. I'll put your name in the bag. Otherwise, I won't do it. It's not automatic. And if you're not on Patreon, well, that's the first step. You got to sign up for Patreon, okay? That is at patreon.com/Eric Zane. It's going to set you back $5 a month to start. If you go to the route of $10 a month, I'll buy you a T-shirt. That is it. That is my own little commercial for me. All right. That's going to do it. Tomorrow we have Dear Meathead on the show. Dad will join us live. We need questions. I'm always needing questions. I've got a few left over from last week. Thank you for that. I'll try to get to any scragglers. If I haven't read your question on the air, resend it, because sometimes it's difficult for me. Sometimes they fall through the cracks. You must put in the subject of those anything having to do with Meathead, either Dear Meathead or Hey Meathead or just Meathead. It makes it easier to filter through them and be able to get to those. So, all right. That is what we will be doing. That is what is on the agenda on the Eric Zane Show podcast. The music is made by the one and only John from Jennison. That's him. That's the dude. He calls this one Blue Water Green. You folks are great. Please stay safe today. What was that thing they'd say in the 1970s? Drive 55. Bring them back alive. Drive 55. Don't get sick today. Talk to you down the road. Bye-bye.